Hello, it is Ian May, Director of Disability Policy and Programs in the Department for Education. I'm proud to introduce you to 4 presentations prepared by parents examining the concept of inclusion, often through the eyes and experiences of their child. They look at inclusion differently and consider the range of opportunities that have happened for their child, some of the challenges, and some of the ways that they see that we could enhance the educational outcomes for all children through inclusion. These were first presented at a parent forum in Term 1, 2018. The Parent Forum is a new department initiative where parents come together discussing issues related to disability and how collaboration and networking are important strategies of improving the well-being and learning for children with disability.
Hi, I'm Trish, and unlike Wendy and Julie, I'll be reading from my notes. Public speaking is not my comfortable place. Public speaking is not my comfortable place. Being up here in front of everyone, my ears are ringing, my breathing is fast, I'm breathless and my mouth is dry. I'm shaking, I'm sweating, and my heart is racing, and I'm fighting every urge to bolt out that door. Functioning this morning has been difficult for me, and I've taken in next to no information. I'm in no emotional state to learn anything. So bear with me. This is Millie. She was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. By 3.5, we had her enrolled in an intensive early intervention program, which she attended for 2 years. She also has a diagnosis of severe speech and language disorder, and she's mostly non-verbal. We were happy that the local Catholic school my older girls had attended in Queensland bent over backwards, supporting and including Millie into mainstream school. But we knew that school was an interim schooling option, that with an additional diagnosis of intellectual disability, Millie was always going to be delayed, and a special schooling option would eventually be where she needed to be. In Queensland, she was entitled to go to a special school. They must make room for an enrolment at the closest special school to you, just like closest state school here for mainstream. There were 4 special schools within half an hour of our house in Brisbane, and I had the option of meeting with them all to see which would be the best fit for Millie. But we didn't get that far. My husband is a Defence Force member, and our posting order said Adelaide. Our posting order was too late in the year for the South Australian DEX Special Need Panel, and they were unable to offer Millie a special need placement. We were even told that because she walked and talked, she wouldn't qualify for a special school in South Australia. My husband seriously considered sacrificing his career and discharging, as the RAF would not consider any other posting positions for us. We made a special trip to Adelaide to visit some mainstream schools to see which would be the best fit. The 3rd school we visited promised us everything we could hope for to support Millie, and they did. They gave her at least 3/4 of each day one-on-one SSO support. Sorry, I'll go slower. But let me explain about that support. Millie sat in a mainstream classroom with 27 other kids who were learning about numbers, not just counting, but adding and subtracting. They were given readers to read. Millie didn't know the names or sounds of the English language and wasn't able to count to 10. Millie had her SSO sit beside her in the classroom doing pre-kindy work with her that was still too advanced, whilst all around her, her fellow classmates were learning different things to her. Developmentally, Millie was 3. At lunchtime, she was released into the playground with all the other students to navigate the noise and chaos. Occasionally, she got to visit the on-site kindy at lunchtimes. Despite Millie being a very friendly little girl, she had very limited communication, limited social skill ability, which often resulted in her lashing out at other kids. I'm sure it was not a comfortable place for her. Her ears were probably ringing. She would have been breathless and her mouth would have been dry. She would often be shaking, and sometimes the urge to bolt overtook her, and she did flee many times. She was not able to function in that environment and was not in any emotional state to learn anything. Sounds like me public speaking. So we made the decision to homeschool. But you can homeschool in jammies. Homeschooling was frustrating. I was not equipped to teach her, and despite the stereotype of autism, she is very social and needed a classroom environment, but she needed the right classroom environment for her. The school she had been enrolled at submitted the application for Millie to be considered for a special options placement. It was a happy day when we received the call that Millie was being offered a placement in a highly regarded special unit not far from our home. Medicine Park Primary has 3 special units and 2 special classes, in addition to 10% of the mainstream population having a disability diagnosis. Inclusion. Let me describe just some of the things that Millie now experiences for 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. She independently walks into her classroom. She puts her own bag away and gets her first task of the day out and independently starts work. She shares her daily classroom with 7 other students, all developmentally about the same age. At age 9 to 11, they enjoy singing nursery rhymes, playing games and activities like what you would expect a 3 to 5-year-old child to be involved in. At lunchtime, all 3 unit classes go into the mainstream playground with a handful of SSOs to oversee them and offer support when required. The 300 or so mainstream kids involve them in their play. The unit kids have access to every single lunchtime activity that all Madison Park kids have access to. In fact, all school activities, weekly school assemblies, sports days, end-of-year concerts, every Madison Park student is involved. Where Millie is being educated, her learning environment is alongside other kids at her level in a small class, and she is learning. At 10, she is now able to confidently count to 10. She is working on basic addition, knows the sounds of the alphabet, and just 3 weeks ago started blending some sounds, being the first stage of reading. My last picture, her heart beats calmly. She can get through the day being calm and relaxed. Not once has she tried to flee her class or the playground. She's in a comfortable and safe environment. She's a student of Madison Park Primary School, and for Millie, that is inclusion. Thank you.
I thank the parents for these presentations. Personally, I found them very powerful, uplifting, and at times challenging. But know that they form part of the rich dialogue around inclusion, because inclusion needs to be seen from a variety of perspectives. Yes, school staff and principals, parents and families, but most importantly, through the child themselves. I think these presentations form part of the discussions that we all need to consider and have. And once again, hope they add a richness to your understanding of inclusion.